What if I told you a single decision to move halfway across the world could unravel everything you thought you knew about life? Watch this video as I reveal how living in China has reshaped my very existence and changed my life forever. After working and living in China for 13 years, is my life better or worse? Is it time to go back home? Watch this video and find out as I get a little personal on my journey of living abroad. Well, I'm done. I'm out of here. How many of you have a train station, a new train station, right outside your home that can basically take you anywhere? When I decide to leave, transportation is simple. Right outside my building. This is what I have. So this is the station right outside my apartment. And then I hop off the train and get onto a subway. Everything is so convenient. I've lived in some of the best cities in the US, in my opinion. But would I go back there? Are the cities the same as they were when I lived there? I still remember the day I decided to take the leap and move to China. It was a moment that would change my trajectory and my life forever. I had always been fascinated with the idea of living abroad. With its rich history and vibrant culture, I believe it was going to be a perfect destination for me and my soul. This is how I truly felt as I made the decision to take the leap to move to China. But would it be the right decision? Has it been the right decision? Is it time to go home? I remember both being excited and extremely nervous when I boarded that plane, knowing there was no turning around. But I was ready to take on the challenge of a lifetime. When I first arrived in China, I was smacked right in the face with culture shock. Wow. The language, the food, the culture, the overall experience. It was truly something that I was not used to and didn't expect. Wow, was it challenging. And going from an apartment in New York to a hotel in a small Chinatown was not an easy transition. Simple tasks like going out and getting some food, ordering food, now became daunting challenges. I remember struggling to communicate with locals, feeling frustrated and alone. Why? Because I was no longer in a big city. I was in a small factory town, and English was non-existent. It was tough, and at times, I felt like throwing in the towel, giving up, and moving back home. But I pushed forward. I knew I had to push through this. Homesickness began to creep in. I was feeling alone, feeling down on myself. Did I make the wrong decision? Did I turn my life upside down for no reason at all? These thoughts popped into my mind every single day. Did I make the right decision? Have I made the right decision now? Is it time to go home? I found myself missing the comforts of home, family and friends, and definitely my favorite foods were no longer available on the whim. I definitely felt like an outsider, struggling to find my place in a new society, a new culture. Again, it was very challenging. I truly wondered if I made a big mistake and if I was cut out for this expat life in China. But despite my struggles, I was determined to push forward and make my time in China worth it. As I started to get used to the area where I would be spending a lot of my time. As I navigated the ups and downs of everyday life in China, I started to notice a subtle change within myself. It was strange. This transition forced me to step out of my comfort zone, try new things, take risks. With each small victory, I felt a sense of pride, accomplishment that I never felt before. I started to see the world in a different light, to appreciate the beauty in the unfamiliar, to find the joy in little things. And I mean little things, like walking around now on a beautiful day. But the Western media will always tell you it's polluted and gray in China. As you can see, beautiful blue skies. I remember a time I encountered a wise old man in a restaurant who approached me and began talking. He spoke in pretty good English. We had a friendly conversation, and it turned into him starting to give me some of his elderly wisdom. He spoke about living in the present, embracing the uncertainty, and finding beauty in the unknown. He said Asia has that. And then I remember him saying, and China has it. Embrace it. Go out and find it. And I most certainly did. His conversation with me was simple but profound. A conversation that shook me to my core. I realized that I've been living my life on autopilot in the US in my first few months in China, going through the motions without the real sense of purpose and direction. His conversation was basically telling me to have a sense of purpose, a sense of desire, a sense of needs, and most importantly, a sense of direction. Now, I'm not saying I was a lost soul in the US, but there was definitely something missing, and I was starting to believe that it was in China where I could find my path. When I finished that conversation with the old man in the restaurant, I felt a change later in the day. It kind of sparked a fire within me, a fire that would drive me to make change, get out of my comfort zone. What does that really mean? Well, the next day, I got out of the hotel and started looking for an apartment, and found an apartment that day. Well, after months and months and months, I finally got an apartment. And what a game changer. And by the way, in case you can't read this, I wish everybody the best. Happy Chinese New Year. Being out of that hotel, I found myself starting to want to do things, and do many things. Starting to do things and travel was my thing, regardless of not knowing the areas where I was at and the language barrier. I was a traveler on the weekends, 24/7. It was an exciting time. I was immediately finding out that China was not the terrible place that I was led to believe by the Western media. The myth that it was not safe in China was complete BS. I was traveling all over the place, and safety was never a concern. Looks like they got a bakery here. Let's see what they're making back here. Rolling the dough. Looks like they're making something with some little sausages here. Friendly people again. Lovely. What do we have here? Looks like a big bun cake. Well, unfortunately, that's on the no-eat list. I touched on that a couple of videos ago. So going back to when I was traveling in all those cities, I instantly found out that this country was safe and full of friendly people everywhere. The negative narratives about China were all lies. Getting out of my comfort zone and not being a homebody, which was basically doing nothing, and I was instantly out seeing China for what it was, which is a good, safe country full of good people. And then, one of the biggest changes in my life. Are you ready for this? I went out on a date. I'm getting personal now. I started dating, and wow, was that an experience. You talk about the unknown in China? Try going out on your first date in China. Truly the unexpected. Getting out of my comfort zone and starting to date, that's change. I was thinking about what the old man said in our conversation, which was pretty much about embracing the unknown, taking direction of your own life. What happened to me next is a miracle. Dating someone with a different background, a different culture, was truly a new experience. But that experience brought me something that I'm going to share now. That experience proved to me that there was love and that I had love in me to give. I found love. It was amazing. I'm now with someone who understands me, who gets the best out of me, who makes me want to be a better man. Having children, I never thought it was imaginable, but it happened. 2 beautiful kids who are being brought up in a safe country with great values, and a Chinese culture that will help show them the way. When I think of my kids, the first thing I think about is I want them to be happy. That's it. Happy and healthy. That's what's most important to me. And I hope a lot of parents think that way. There's nothing better than a happy, healthy child. Of course, I want them to do good in school, treat others with dignity and respect. Back inside the shopping plaza, need to pick up a few things. China has changed me, had awakened something in me that I never knew existed, and that's being a better man, a good person, a great provider, and not a selfish person. No longer an individual person, but now more of a collective person. It's a transformation that will stay with me forever. A transformation that shaped my life. The lessons I've learned in China will stick with me until the day I die. The importance of being open-minded, of taking risks, of embracing uncertainty. China taught me a lot more than I ever imagined. China taught me to be more patient, more resilient, more compassionate, and kinder to others. China has taught me to appreciate the beauty of the unknown, to find the joy in little things, and for that, I will forever be grateful. Hey, what are you doing here? Okay, let's talk about this. Homes in China. What's truly great about China, it's given me the opportunity to be able to raise my family in our own home. Growing up in the US, there's always a dream of owning your own home. When it comes to buying a home, people often think about the American dream, where owning a home is the cornerstone of success. You've made it. But can Americans afford that dream anymore? Being able to afford an American home? This is the little entry here. Is designated as my little workout home gym. As I pondered about staying in China or taking the family back to the US, I realized that home affordability was no longer an option for me. And that's the truth. And then this is the little dining room area. That is now also where the piano is. Little bar area. So staying in China or going back to the US, I pondered this for many years. But unfortunately, it was no longer an option. It wasn't in the cards anymore. For the middle class income people, homes are not affordable for the average American home. But what I'm going to tell you a little later in this video on what I paid for this home, you'll be amazed. Stay tuned. So not only did I have a concern about an affordable home, then I started thinking about safety. Like I touched on in my last video, We're not closed off out of the world over here in China. We can get the news. We see what's going on in the US. And it's not propaganda against the US. It's regular news coming out of the US. And the US has turned into a country that's not safe. Crime is running rapid. Gun violence is out of control. School shootings is heartbreaking. The robberies, when you're in the store and people just run in and smash and grab and steal things. It's incredible. So what am I worrying about as I sit here and talk into this camera is also not only about the affordability in the US, the safety in the US, crimes in the US. I'm worried about racism. We're a biracial family. And you don't think we hear about Asian hate crimes coming out of the US? America is falling apart. And I'm an American saying this. It's not a safe country. It's not an affordable country. The American dream, give me a break. It's out of control. Okay, this is the sitting room area, living room. Got your basics, TV, surround sound, air conditioning, couch, chair. It's a painting that a man did in my family's hometown of Renan. He's a local artist and he does paintings. And he painted this on a canvas and then I got it framed. Van Gogh, Starry Nights. Then I started thinking about all the good in China and basically had a wake-up call. Everything is in China that I'm looking for. Home affordability, friendly people, safety, no crime. So I decided to take a different path and we bought a home in China instead. An American buying a home in China may seem unconventional, but hear me out. So this is one of the bedrooms. I'll explain what we did later. Built-in closets, storage space over here, built-in desk. But with all the negativities and the affordability problems, I knew I would be broke. There was no way I could afford a home and take care of a family. So here's some storage, and then there's a bathroom here. Everybody kind of uses it. It's mostly for the ladies. Another room. I'll show you the toilet shower area real quick. I tried to straighten up as much as I could. Storage. Shower's pretty big. It's got all these contraptions. This bedroom, my little desk. Most of this stuff I think I got from IKEA. And then plenty of cabinet space in here that we built in. I'll talk about the construction on this a little bit later. So that's it for the bedroom. I'll show you the last bedroom. Choosing China to buy a home was the right decision for me and my family. And so far, it's been a good ride. Legal hurdles of buying property in China can be daunting, challenging to say the least. A lot of paperwork, and it can be confusing quickly. And of course, there's the financial implications on your investment. Is it the right choice? Do you have enough money? Challenging times a few years ago. Considering transferring money to China, the exchange rate, tax implication, insurance premium, and of course, continued employment in China. Making a decision on what to do was difficult. Another challenge was navigating through the Chinese housing market. And I'll touch on that here in a little bit. But here's bedroom number 3. Built in the desks. I'll talk about the construction here in a little bit. Here's a cabinet we added. Closets, closets, closets. And then more space up there. Some drawers here. I want to show you my pride and joy. And then we'll talk more about housing and pricing and construction in China. It's a totally different ball game buying a home in China versus America. For example, a new home in China is completely unfinished. Look at some of these pictures I dug out from an old phone. It's basically a skeleton, all concrete. When I started seeing new homes in China, I was shocked. They were all empty. I had no clue what it was going to look like. Firstly, when you walk into this kitchen, you're going to realize it's not your traditional kitchen in China. That's pretty small. So I'll explain what I did here in a minute. So just real quick, this is the kitchen. Let me just go around real quick and then I'll touch on it. So if you see this thing, this was a wall. And where the stove is, so my left here, this was a patio. I didn't need the patio. We have another patio. I'll show it to you. So with my help, we knocked out this wall, and about right here was a little door. And we expanded the kitchen, and it came out good. There's plenty of storage space. The tiles was my idea. It didn't come out as expected. I was going for a certain type of look, but the look that came out was I couldn't afford all the same tile. But that's okay. It can always be redone. So we love our kitchen. I'm a kitchen guy. I like to cook, and that's why we made it big. All the appliances are China companies, which is something to be very proud of. Quality has been great. Had no issues in this kitchen. So was buying a home in China worth it? It's not for everyone. I understand that. But affordability compared to the US, safety compared to the US, my decision was turning out to be a no-brainer. So this home that I'm showing you, which is about 135 square meters, I believe, in total, cost me about $1,000. So what could you get in the US? I'm sure you could get something, but where would it be? What would it look like? Would it be in an area that is safe? I doubt it. Buying a home in China has been an experience. It's been challenging, but rewarding. So buying a home in China, it was the right thing. The foundation for years to come, knowing my family has a roof over their head and no worries. So the plan now and the plan for the foreseeable future is to remain in China, where I'm happy, safe, and have a great family and some wonderful friends. If you're considering taking the leap, moving abroad to China or any other country, I hope my story gives some insights on what it's like moving and living abroad. What every foreigner dreams of getting in China. Why living in China changed my life forever. Well, I hope I gave you a little bit of understanding on why China changed my life forever and for the better. So do me a favor, comment below if you have any life-changing experiences moving abroad or buying a home in a foreign country. I'd love to read them. Let's get some dialogue going. So do me a favor, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate everybody's support. I respect everybody's opinions, whether I agree or disagree. So everybody be good, be safe, and take care, and see you in the next one. But it's time for you to go. See you later. Good day.